Okay, let's talk about a tiny phrase we all use, probably without even realizing it, I think. In this explainer, we're going to break down how this one little habit can have a huge impact on your credibility. And, more importantly, how a simple language shift can make you sound way more confident and decisive, like instantly. This quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? We tend to use I think almost like a verbal tick, a way to soften what we're about to say. But what it's really doing is subtly chipping away at the power of our own ideas, making us sound hesitant when we need to sound certain. And here's why it's such a killer. Even if you are 100% sure about what you're saying, starting with I think immediately frames it as just your opinion, not a solid, well thought out conclusion. It kind of plants this little seed of doubt in the listener's mind before you've even made your point. So check this out, because this is where it gets really interesting. It's all about the gap between what you mean to say and what people actually hear. You might be thinking, hey, I'm just offering my well-considered take on this. But what your boss or your team hears is something more like, I'm not totally sure about this, but here's an idea anyway. That's the disconnect that costs us our credibility. Yes, that is the big question, right? We've talked about the problems, so let's jump straight into the good stuff, the solutions. This isn't about banning the phrase from your vocabulary forever, but it's about adding some more powerful, more precise tools to your communication toolkit. All right, let's get right to it. We're going to walk through 3 specific alternatives, and I want you to think of these as strategic language upgrades, not just simple replacements. Each one has its own superpower, depending on the situation.
First up, we've got a phrase for when you really need to step up and own your expertise.
So instead of I think we should do this, you say, my recommendation is. See how different that feels? It's clean, it's direct, it's powerful. This is your go-to when you're in a position to give some real guidance. It instantly transforms you from someone who's just kind of thinking out loud into a professional who's offering a clear, considered judgment. It sounds confident because it's coming from a place of knowledge.
Okay, on to our second alternative. This one is for when you need to let the facts do the talking for you.
For this one, you'd say something like, based on the data, we should. Honestly, this phrase is like your secret weapon for sounding objective. And it's so effective because it moves the conversation away from your personal feelings and puts the spotlight right on the cold, hard facts. It tells everyone, hey, this isn't just a hunch I have, it's the logical next step based on the evidence. And that makes your argument so much more persuasive. And for our third and final one, this is your tool for those more delicate, collaborative moments. So in this case, you could try a more effective approach might be just notice how collaborative and forward-looking that sounds. This phrase is brilliant when you want to suggest a better way of doing something without directly shutting down the current idea. It frames your suggestion as an improvement, getting everyone focused on the shared goal of finding the most effective path forward. It's competent, but it's also super diplomatic. Okay, so we've looked at the what, the actual phrases. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about the why. What's the big idea that ties all of this together? And this right here is the absolute key. Confident communication is not about being louder or more aggressive. It's not about forcing your opinion on people. It's about being more precise. It's about choosing words that accurately match the level of knowledge and certainty you already have inside you. So the real mission now is to take this knowledge and turn it into muscle memory. Let's make these powerful phrases your new automatic response. So here it is, your new toolkit all in one place. Just remember, when you're giving expert advice, go with, my recommendation is. When you've got the facts on your side, use based on the data. And when you need to be collaborative but clear, try a more effective approach. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Look at your calendar for tomorrow, your meetings, your emails. Where's that one spot you can consciously swap out an I think for one of these powerhouse phrases? Because making that one small change is the first step to making sure you're heard with the clarity and authority you absolutely deserve.